I watched my son draw a picture of me sleeping, with a man standing over my bed. The man had no face, and my son labeled it, "Before I chose you." I used to think there was nothing more sacred than motherhood. Nothing more pure than the bond between a mother and her child. But then, my son started talking about things no child should know. Not dreams. Not stories. Memories. He told me he remembered choosing us, my husband and me, before he was born. At first, I thought it was just another phase. You know, like imaginary friends or talking to the moon. But now I know the truth. My son didn't imagine anything. He remembered. It started small. Harmless. We were watching TV when a commercial for a funeral home came on. My son Micah, 4 years old, pointed at the screen and said, "That's where you cried for your first baby." I froze. Because he was right. I'd had a miscarriage 2 years before he was born. We never told him. We never told anyone. "How do you know that?" I asked. He smiled, swinging his little legs off the couch. "Because I was waiting. Behind the light." Micah's drawings got darker after that. Gone were the suns and flowers. Now he drew shapes. A spiral made of hands. A woman with her mouth stitched shut. And always, a tall figure with no face. Sometimes it had wings made of teeth. Sometimes its arms were too long. But it was always watching. And Micah always smiled when he finished the drawings. Like he was proud. One night I found a drawing on my pillow. It was me, in bed. Sleeping. A dark figure stood next to me, reaching for my stomach. Inside it, a baby. The words at the bottom were scrawled in red crayon. "This is when I came in." I didn't sleep that night. My husband, Caleb, laughed it off. Said Micah had a creative imagination. But I could tell he was scared too. He stopped checking the baby monitor. He didn't want to hear what Micah said when he talked in his sleep. Because I did. Micah would whisper things like, "The gate is open. The shadows in the hallway again. Don't forget the promise, Mommy. You said you'd keep me." It got worse. I found Micah sleepwalking one night, standing in front of the mirror, whispering to his reflection. Not at it, with it. I crouched beside him, gently placing my hand on his back. His reflection turned to me. But he didn't. His real body stayed still, whispering. The reflection smiled. And then both whispered in unison. "Don't break the circle. He's almost here." I didn't know what circle he meant until I found the journal. My grandmother's journal. Hidden in a sealed box in the attic. Pages and pages of writing about spirit children, ancestral doors, and bloodlines being marked. One entry was circled in thick red ink. Some children come through us. Others come for us. And beneath that, the ones who choose are never born clean. I called my mother in a panic. She went silent when I asked about the journal. Then, barely above a whisper, she said, "Your great-grandmother was a keeper." She opened the gate. Some children, they don't get born from love. They get born from debt. I asked her what kind of debt. Her response? The kind that bleeds through generations. That night, I tucked Micah into bed. I tried to act normal, to smile, to hide the shaking in my hands. "Why did you choose us?" I asked. He blinked, then said calmly, "Because your sadness tasted sweet." I felt ice in my veins. "What do you mean?" Micah rolled onto his side, murmuring, "He said I could be born if I picked a broken one. You were the most broken." Then he closed his eyes. The next morning, Caleb was gone. No note. No phone call. Just his shoes by the door and the car keys still on the counter. Micah sat at the table eating cereal. When I asked him where Daddy went, he said, he saw his real face. He won't come back now. I started noticing scratches. On the hallway walls. Under the bed. Inside the dryer. They weren't random. They were symbols. Identical to the ones in the journal. Spirals. Inverted eyes. The teeth wing shape again. I painted over them. They came back the next day. Always in threes. Then Micah stopped eating. Just sat at the table, mouth closed, smiling. Said he wasn't hungry. That he was feeding him now. I asked who he was. He reached out, touched my hand and said, "The one who watches. He's almost ready. Then I don't have to pretend anymore." I slapped his hand away. It was ice cold. The mirror in the hallway cracked that night. No one touched it. A single fracture, running straight down the center. Micah stood in front of it, both hands against the glass, humming. He looked at me through the mirror, not directly, and whispered, "That's where I'll crawl back in, if you say no. There's something I haven't told you. Something I didn't even tell Caleb." Micah wasn't conceived naturally. I went to someone, a healer, in Benin. After the miscarriage, I was desperate. She said she could open the door just once, but warned me, "The child you call may not be the one who answers." I thought it was metaphorical, but now I know better. I begged to be a mother again, and something answered. Last night, Micah stood at my bedside, eyes wide, smiling. "Do you still want me?" he asked. I couldn't speak. "If you don't," he said softly, "I can go back. But someone else will come." He leaned closer. "And he won't wear my face." Then he reached for my hand. This morning, the spiral was painted across the living room floor, in something dark and thick and metallic smelling. Micah was standing in the center, barefoot, eyes rolled back, whispering in a tongue I've never heard but somehow understood. It was a promise, a binding. "Thank you." I told myself I didn't know what I was doing, but I did. I knew that Healer's smile was too wide. I knew the way the candles burned against the wind wasn't right. I knew something else climbed inside me that night. But I wanted him. I needed him. Even if he wasn't truly mine. Even if I never chose him. He chose me. Because I was already hollowed out. And all he had to do was move in.